I'm Keith Oliver. I'm the production manager with Olson Brothers Ranches in Prosser. We are close to IRAC, and we like working in cooperation on experiments that the station is doing. So Matt's got access out here to do whatever kind of plots he wants to do. In this block, we're working on the limb renewal plot, and any research that wants to be done is we're happy to cooperate, and we're close to the station, so that works well for both of us. The block we're standing by is a fifth leaf Tieton block that was planted not with this architecture in mind, but we retrofitted it as we went. It took a couple of years to figure out what we were doing, and this is our oldest UFO block. This is the first year we've really had a good yield in here. Most of this block of Tietons to the east of us was planted as central leader trees. We have about 1.5 acres on this end that we planted as UFO, and the yield difference was pretty dramatic this year. The central leader block picked 6.1 tons to the acre this year, and the UFO picked 11.5 tons to the acre of Tietons. Well, we had less doubling in here, and that with Tietons that's always a concern. And because of the architecture, that was a benefit that we hadn't counted on. I haven't figured out or calculated the fruiting square footage per acre or cubic footage per acre, but for whatever reason they set in here and they sized, and we were really happy with the results. The picking efficiency was also better. The pickers filled the bins a lot faster in the UFO. Some of the pickers liked it, some of them didn't like it. The reason they didn't like it was because they can't put their bucket under the limbs. They like to drop the cherries right down into the bucket, and when the UFO they have to bring them out to the bucket. So there was a little bit of complaining about that, but they filled their buckets up faster and they made more money, so that calmed the complaining down pretty good. Giannis was here with the yield efficiency in both the central leader and in the UFO system. And I don't remember what the numbers are, but I followed along that day while we were doing that, and I know the bins got filled up a lot faster with the same crew in the UFO system. So I don't know the final numbers, but the harvest efficiency was much better in the UFO. Yes, that's one of the things that we're hoping we can do with this. Based on our experience here, we planted a new block that is an angled architecture UFO that we think will facilitate mechanical harvesting even better than this vertical system. We're still learning a lot about limb renewal. We've cut some limbs out at different timings. We're working on an experiment to see when we might get the best limb renewal for the big uprights. We're summer pruning. We're not sure exactly when and how hard to summer prune. We're worried about doubling, so we don't want to cut out too much shade in the summertime, but we need to maintain the height of these trees where they are. They fill the space, so we don't want a dormant prune. So we still have a lot to learn, but it's a pretty simple system, so the learning curve is not too bad. Well, we learned a lot as we've gone along, and we decided we're never going to plant a traditional cherry tree again. We've seen the advantages of UFO, and it cost a lot to get the block in, but we think in the long run the yield advantages that we've seen so far and the picking advantages will outweigh the initial cost of establishment, and I'd just suggest go for it. It's not that hard. Well, if it wasn't for the project, we wouldn't have even thought of trying this. I mean, we planted this block before the project was really started, but then once the project got going with Matt's work, it helped show us, different techniques and how to do things and think about things differently. This is a completely foreign way of growing cherries, of course, compared to several years back. So the project has helped us encourage us that it does work. We've seen some of the results other people have had. And the cooperation of the different growers has been a good thing, a good learning experience, and it's all been facilitated by the SCRI grant.